Here are 3 food-phobic myths that I used to believe. I was completely bought into the vegetable oils, seed oils are inflammatory thing. What's interesting about this one is that there is a mechanistic explanation and evidence for why that could be the case. But when you actually do studies in humans, you see that the more linoleic acid they have in their bodies, the lower their risk of cardiovascular disease, and there is no impact on inflammation, which is fascinating because it means that there's some paracrine and autocrine regulation happening that is not just substrate availability. Cool, right? I was all in on organic foods, especially the Dirty Dozen. But recent large meta-analyses have shown that there is no difference in health impact between the organic and the conventional version of the same food. There's just too little pesticide residue on these foods, yes, even the Dirty Dozen, to have any kind of meaningful impact on our health. But it is a concern for farm workers and even for people who use pesticides in their own gardens. It also turns out that organic fruits and vegetables aren't more nutrient dense than conventional. So nowadays I just buy whichever one looks best in the store that is a reasonable price. And I used to think that whole grains were bad because of lectins and phytates, and not even looking at the incredible wealth of data showing the more whole grains you consume, the better on average your health is. Also, did you know that there's studies where they have given people phytate supplements and it does cool things like reduce bone demineralization and osteoporosis risk, and lowers uric acid levels, which could reduce risk of gout. There's also a bunch of lectins that have been shown to be beneficial. They can do things like reduce cardiovascular disease risk, reduce risk of type 2 diabetes. So yeah, the complete opposite of what I used to think. If you're interested in digging into the science, I'm giving a webinar on November 3rd called Correcting the Record, Everything I Got Wrong About Food Toxins. I'm going to be covering 12 topics in all, including those 3. Oh, I guess that's 4 because lectins and phytates are 2 separate things. And whether you're like me and you used to engage with these food fear-mongering myths and you're just interested in knowing where the science is really at, or if you just want a better understanding of the myths that are still spreading in the wellness community online as a sort of misinformation inoculation. Ooh, that rhymes. That could be a cool song. Then I hope you'll join me. There's still some seats available and tickets are $12.